there. I hope we're ready to feel good all the time today. And this is the first installation of Church, Cherch, which I'm going to try to do every Sunday. I used to ask myself when I go to church, am I really receiving a message that is really working for me? Is the message that I'm receiving really, directed towards me? Is it really helping me throughout the week? And a lot of times the answer is no. And since this is recorded, it's not live yet. I am considering doing it live. But since it's recorded, you can go to your regular church service and then listen to this every Sunday, hopefully. So today I would like to talk about how to heal a broken, bleeding heart. Now, both men and women, and men, male identifiers and female women identifiers have bleeding hearts. But I want to address the woman's bleeding heart today. I myself had a bleeding heart and probably still have a bit of a bleeding heart. I had a really sad situation this summer, and it was a relationship I was hoping would blossom, and it just ended abruptly, and I was really sad because I really feel like I love this person, this man, and, well, boy, considering the way he was acting. But I wanted to revisit it myself because for a while I had to use my own advice to remind myself how to feel good all the time, even in the midst of this sad situation. Specifically, I was dumped worse than I've ever been dumped before in my life. The man I was seeing said some really mean things. I've never been spoken to like that in my life. He said some really mean, hurtful things, personal things, very destructive. That became very destructive to my self-esteem and my psyche. Things like, well, who would want you? And you're a weirdo, and you're an idiot, and you're a bum, and, just horrible things that would make you question why I liked this person to begin with. But I had never experienced such abuse, such an abusive personality. And I'll say personality because, the things that come out of our mouths isn't always a true reflection of who we are. Because who we all are divine. We're all divine. We're all precious, little children, precious little beings, pure. All we want to do is be loved. But for, when we don't get that love, or every ugly thing is a reflection of some failure of us not being loved. That's what it is. So I try not to blame or get too personal with the person that is saying the abusive things or being abusive. Of course, you don't want to forgive them so much that you stay in the relationship and you end up getting smacked upside the head or killed. But you want to understand them enough so that you can leave and still not have any ill will towards them. So, I got into this situation. I've never been in this type of situation in my life where I was just dumped so abruptly and just verbally abused like that. And it just tore me apart because I still loved him. and probably still do love him, despite the fact that he was being unkind and hateful and just dumped me and said, I don't want you anymore. Oh gosh. So I had to go in my own workbook and be like, well, this doesn't feel good at all. This doesn't feel good at all. How am I going to feel good throughout this? So the first thing I did is to make sure I didn't cover up the hurt. I talk about that in my book, The Cover Up. In the chapter, feeling bad is a two-step. Because it's usually not the offense that happens, it's our reaction to it. We close up, we close our hearts, we close our open, vulnerable selves, and that's what really does the hurting. So when this happened, I cried, and I told him I was vulnerable. I cried to him. And I said, please don't throw me away. I love you. Of course, some of this is going to sound like you're a crazy person. Or that you're a crazy girl, psycho girl, stalker. But don't feel this way. This is what you call normal human emotion, normal reaction, human vulnerability, which most of us don't know about because we're always trying to avoid it and close up and be macho and be strong and, put on, a good face and put on a show. But if, we were being honest with ourselves, if someone that we love is dumping us, we would say, no, please don't throw me away. I love you. I'll be better. What can I do to change? And I encourage you guys, when this happens, we'll talk about how to avoid this happening a little later. But I encourage all of you, when this happens, to go that route, to be vulnerable, to keep your heart open. Don't say, F you, you suck anyway, which at some point I did do because he just got so mean. But at the end, I came back and I thanked him for everything he did for me. Things weren't all bad and the things he taught me. And I thanked him. So I would say the first step when you get dumped or something horrible happens in your relationship, you catch your man cheating or something very hurtful. He steals your credit card, I don't know. The first thing you should do is react naturally. Cry. Feel it. Feel the pain. Let your heart bleed. Feel it. Acknowledge the pain. Acknowledge the hurt. Because in that, I'm telling you, there is a euphoria. There's a euphoria in crying. Have you noticed that? When you cry, it kind of feels good. It feels good to cry. It doesn't feel good to hold it in. But it feels good to let it out. There's a euphoria. There's a good feeling. So cry and feel. Feel vulnerable. Feel discarded. Feel what is happening for real. And you will cry. You might cry for a couple of months. But that is the you. And here's the thing. Here's the blessing in it. The you that is crying, the you that feels, the you that is vulnerable is the you should be working with all the time. That is the you who you are going to fall in love with. So these hurtful situations with someone we love dumping us, it gets us, ironically, it gets us back in touch with the real us. The us that we can fall in love with. The sweet, pure, precious, vulnerable, just wants to be loved with the big eyes looking up at you. That is why this world is so masterfully designed, because even the hurt and even the sadness can make us better. Of course, it helps when you have someone telling you and guiding you and letting you know that those feelings are okay. So after I let myself cry, I even let myself beg. Ladies, women identifiers, you have to let yourself beg sometimes too, because that's what what can I change? What can I do to change? You don't want me, I can change. I love you. I don't want to lose you. There's nothing wrong with saying that. You should say that. If you feel it, you can say it. Now, they're most likely going to say, there's nothing you can do, because, regardless of the reason, and let's just say more often than not, the reason why man is dumping you has nothing to do with you. It has to do with his own insecurities, or his own lack of ability to love, or his own fear of intimacy or commitment. But let's just say the worst case scenario is he's not attracted to you anymore. He was just using you for sex, Let's just say that happened. Even if that happened, let yourself feel that. Let yourself feel those authentic feelings. Okay? Now, the second step I would say is, after you let yourself feel the feelings after getting dumped or getting your heart broken, keep yourself open. A really big mistake that we do, and what I even did this summer, is convincing yourself that you need to be alone. You don't need to be alone unless you want to be alone. I've spent a large part of my time being alone, and I have gotten so much stuff done that I'm ready to be with someone, okay? And you have to be honest with yourself. If you're not ready to be alone, don't think that because this person dumped you, you need to take some time to yourself. No, you don't. Because you were with that person because you wanted to be with someone. So what is our natural reflex is that we close our hearts. We close our hearts. And we close our sexuality. Because in this case, this guy was, calling me all sorts of derogatory names. I know y'all are like, where did you find this guy? So I started to rethink my style and myself. And so, when that happens, a lot of times we we turn our sexuality off. We turn ourselves off. So we don't attract anyone, because we're so hurt and we've closed our hearts. Now we close our bodies. And that's a big mistake. So you want to keep your heart open and you want to keep your sexual juices going and be like, oh, well, this person didn't want me. I'm going to move on to the next person. And I'm not necessarily advocating, that saying, well, the best way to get over a man is to get under a new one. Not literally get under one, but to keep yourself open to meeting new wonderful people. There's so many men out there. I bet you thought before you met this last guy that dumped you that you wouldn't meet someone like him. Oh, there's no one I'm attracted to. Well, you met him. And don't you have ex-boyfriends now that you were so attracted to that you're not attracted to at all? They didn't change their looks. They didn't get fat. They look exactly the way they looked before. So nothing about their looks have changed. You just don't see them like that anymore because you've moved on. Let me tell you, this world has a plethora, has an abundance, an overflow of sexy men who you will be attracted to. And we can talk about that in another session. But if we really realize just how many sexy men that we personally will be attracted to and that will be equally as attracted to us, we would be able to move on quicker from these breakups with these weirdo guys. And I say weirdo in a derogatory way, I know, but normally weirdos are interesting people. But in this case, I'm talking about guys who blame you for their shortcomings, who put you down, who are irresponsible with themselves and with your feelings. So the second step is to keep your sexy on, stay turned on. Keep yourself turned on. You need to get a new look. You need to get a new wig. You need to get some new shoes. You need to get a new workout. You need to get a new schedule. You need a new dog. Technically, it would be great if we didn't need these crutches, but hey, sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. So after we keep ourselves turned on, keep ourselves feeling sexy, keep ourselves looking sexy, then that will help us to feel good while our heart is mending. And you will find that you are attracting other people. And as soon as you attract someone that you're more attracted to than the other person, you forget about the other person. You don't care. That's kind of how men do a lot of times, because their awareness of the abundance of women in this world is a little bit higher than ours. They know that. And then, sorry to say, but sometimes women lower their standards. We lower our standards. So you have a man that is not a catch at all, and he ends up landing some really awesome women. So men know they can go find somebody. But we don't believe the same. But we have to start believing, there's so many other people. Not that we will fall just as madly in love with, that are just as interesting. And they're out there. And we have to find them. And we shouldn't stop searching. We have to keep searching, keep ourselves out there. I would say go out even more. Put yourself on a schedule of going out at least 3 to 4 times a week. Go out. Doesn't have to be for a long time. It could be an hour here and there. Just go out somewhere. I know it's expensive to go out, but try to find some free stuff. Try to find some free stuff to go to. Literally put yourself on a schedule so that you are able to keep yourself feeling good and excited about life, even while your heart heals. Because yes, you are in love with this person and your heart is bleeding and it needs to heal. And all you want is him. All you want is this person. You don't want anyone else right now. Well, let me give you this analogy. Let's pretend you are sort of in a desert, and you come across a yogurt stand. Okay, I'm going to eat this yogurt. And you eat the yogurt, you're like, this is good. Okay, let's say that a breeze comes over and knocks the yogurt stand over and destroys it. And you mourn over this yogurt stand. Now, granted, the yogurt wasn't that good, right? The yogurt was, a chef or a yogurt expert would say the yogurt on a scale from 1 to 10 was maybe a 5 or a 6 at best. But you enjoyed the yogurt so much because it was there, and there was no other yogurt around to compare it to. If you stayed, now, the secret is that about a mile up the road is another stand. But this is premium yogurt. This yogurt is made with organic, grass-fed milk, milk from cows that were grass-fed, organic. The cows were massaged. The best chocolate, the best ingredients. It smells fresher. It's a better presentation. It has more probiotics in it for you. It is just, on a scale from 1 to 10, this yogurt is exponentially better than the yogurt you were eating. And you enjoy it more. You would enjoy it more. You would forget about this other yogurt that you have run into and that you were eating up and that you're just sitting there crying over. If you never picked yourself up and walked further down the pathway of life, right? After you get dumped, after you get your feelings hurt, if you never pick yourself up and walk further down, if you stop right there, what's going to happen is that you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out on this premium yogurt that is there for you right up the street. Well, you ask Carrie, how do I know that the premium yogurt is there? What if this is the only yogurt I'll ever find? Which is what most of us women are thinking, right? Oh, God, I found a guy. He's tall and he's kind of cute. And he has a house. It's kind of, not the best house, but it's a house. Oh, I got to keep him. Oh, there's nobody else probably that I'm ever going to be sexually attracted to. I'm going to keep him. And then when he dumps you, I can't live anymore. I'm going to, destroy myself. Okay, but if you just pick yourself up and keep walking the walk of believing, of knowing how wonderful you are, of knowing what you deserve in this life, of knowing that life was meant to feel good, of knowing that you weren't supposed to be with this person anyway if he's making you feel bad, of knowing that your life is supposed to be fun, like a party, like a celebration. If you picked yourself up and walked further down on the pathway of life, you would find that premium yogurt stand that you will enjoy better, and you will forget that other raggedy yogurt you used to be eating. Now, some of you may think that analogy was kind of raggedy in itself, but I liked it. And I think it gives you an idea. Is that, back to the question, well, Carrie, how do I know there's anything better out there? That is something you never have to question. Do you know why? Because of rule number 1. And 2, and I'll talk about this method a little later in some other sessions, but I want you to start programming your mind with these numbers. Rule number 1, these are just rules that you can't refute at this point, okay? The universe, the circumstance of the universe is that you control what you experience. The circumstance was that everything was created. Everything already exists. Everything. Every degree of every thought, every possibility in your imagination. Okay? Your imagination is the universe. Anything in your imagination you can materialize. Can you grasp that? Anything in your imagination. You want to be seen as the most beautiful woman in the world. People will laugh at you. Psh. The law says that you believe that with your heart, you persist in that, it happens. So your world appears to you as you see it, as you believe it. So that answers your question. What world are you creating in your mind that is going to materialize in the outside world? Number one, the circumstances that that's where universe comes from. In the Russian language, the Cyrillic symbol for you, okay, it's also used in universe. You are the universe. So whatever you believe, whatever you conceive, materializes for you. So if you don't believe there's any man out there, you don't believe there's going to be another man out there for you, there's not going to be one. And you're going to see, and you can see the evidence of this in all of these unhappy people that think they need to bury themselves in a religion or just asceticism or self-denial, self-abnegation. These people that feel, oh, well, this didn't happen because God didn't want it to happen. Don't, in my opinion, that's false. That categorically goes against the law of the universe, which has already been proven. That what you imagine to be is. That's the game of life, you guys. The game of life. That's why it's so damaging when you let somebody get into your head. When you let people get into your head and impose their beliefs on you, their beliefs, which are true for them. If you adopt those beliefs, when you don't really want to, or they don't feel good to you, you ruin your life. You ruin your life. And a lot of times in these relationships, we can adopt the beliefs of our abusive boyfriends or husbands, telling us, you're never going to be this, you're never going to be that. Well, in their mind, they think that, and you can respect that. You know what? In your mind, you think I'm a loser. That's fine. But in my mind, that's not how I see myself. And you have to sort of neutralize the curse, because at that point, they're cursing you. You need to neutralize the curse. Remind yourself, oh no, number one, reprogram yourself. Go back to number one. The circumstance, the way this whole thing has been set up. And you can believe in a grand creator. I like to believe in a universal creator that designed and created this universe that we're on. I feel that, but who knows? It doesn't even matter. As long as you realize that the laws of the universe cannot be refuted. What you imagine in your mind, you create in the outside world. So if you imagine that there are better yogurts, up the street, and there are better men for you, there are better relationships for you, then you are going to feel better about anything that happens. Practically anyone's going to be able to dump you, and you're going to feel okay about it. Okay, bye. Bye, because guess what? I've already created another boyfriend for me. I've already created another husband. I'm done with you. And if you want to be that husband, then you're going to have to create yourself into the image of what I'm imagining. Because sometimes it's not that it's another person. It's just another version of the same person. It's an upgraded version of the same person. But a lot of times it's another person. So I would say those are the 3 steps at this point to feeling good after you get dumped, feeling good after a bad breakup, feeling good with a broken, bleeding heart. That is the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Number 1, you keep your heart open. You react authentically. Now, I want to put a caveat on that. Violence is not an authentic reaction. So ladies, don't go burning down your man's house. Violence is not an authentic reaction. It is a cover-up emotion. It's a cover-up reaction to sadness. Madness is a version of sadness. Your authentic emotion is only going to be sadness or love. Love or the absence of love, which is sadness, or the belief that you have an absence of love. So when I say authentic reaction, it's sadness. Be sad. Don't get mad. Get sad. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself to feel sad. Allow yourself to feel small. Allow yourself to feel hurt. Allow your heart to bleed. Okay? You will feel better. You can even say, what did I do? I love you. I want you. You can say all those things. They're not going to most likely work, but say all those things. Get it out. Experience yourself as this beautiful, pure, precious, just being that is so adorable. Number 2, keep yourself turned on. Keep yourself turned on. Don't turn your sexual energy off. Don't turn your sensuality off. Don't start looking crazy. Don't stop brushing your teeth. Do even more. Get even more waxes. Take even more good care of yourself. Get ready to become an even more beautiful mate for your future beloved. And number 3, I would say, reconnect with the law. Go to number 1. Okay? Program yourself to, okay, the law is that whatever is in my imagination, I create in the outside world. Oh, okay, so that means that I can create another mate. I can form an image of another mate in my mind and create him, and I will meet him this weekend, literally. So, and he's going to be better, right? He's going to have all the traits that I liked, but he's going to be better. He's going to be better. So you should be excited. The 3rd step should get you excited. It really should. Because you realize, okay, bye. You're able to release them. Bye. Have a nice life. I hope you find what you're looking for, because guess what? I know I'm going to find what I'm looking for. So I would love for you to post in the comment section what you feel about this session, your experiences. I will respond to you. And this has been the first installation of church. I hope you have enjoyed it. And I look forward to meeting back with you guys next Sunday, if not before, but definitely next Sunday. Take care. Bye.